we're going to start in our supine position, just lying on our backs. So for those of you who are looking at the screen and see Natalia's name, I am actually Mary. So if you need to call out to me my name or just excuse me, that works too. So anything that gets my attention is great. So now that we are familiar with one another and we're lying on our backs, if it feels comfortable to do so, maybe our knees stay bent. It just depends on how our backs feel. And then just place your hands down by your side. And I'm gonna start off with my knees bent just to show you the option, and it's there. It takes a little bit of pressure because your pelvis is slightly tipped so that when you take those legs completely out, it changes the whole dynamics of the spine. So I'm gonna start with my knees bent. And then just a little rock side to side for the cervical spine. Just let your head drop to one side. It's not a fast movement. Inhale to the center, and then exhale to the other side. We're just noticing how the shoulders feel. So we might have already been doing some work in the garden. We might have been up for a little while. Maybe we just got up. Either way, we just want to notice how the neck and shoulder connection is doing. You've got your trapezius, your left scap, you've got stenomastoid, you've got a bunch of different things that go on in the connection between the shoulders and the neck. So we're just gently rocking side to side, noticing the range of motion. See if you have the same range of motion on both sides. And we're not trying to push the range, we're just noticing it. Maybe it gets a little bit deeper as we continue to go side to side, very slowly. Do that a couple more times, taking one breath to the top, and then letting it go when you go to the side. And then inhale, one breath to look at the ceiling. And then exhale to look the other way. Then bring yourself back to the ceiling. Maybe the head just slightly tips off to the side. It doesn't have to be perfectly straight. And if we do have our legs, knees bent, we might want to start to straighten them out now. So I'm going to go ahead and straighten my legs out now. And as soon as I start to do that, I can feel my pelvis tilting. And it's putting a little different sensation in my lower back. Again, if anyone needs to keep knees bent, feel free to do that. And then take a nice deep breath in and try to raise up the belly as much as you can. Deep breath in, it'll expand the ribs. And then exhale, slowly let it go. Now, I'm breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth, but I'm going to start to breathe in through the nose and out through the nose, trying to slow the breath down a little bit more. So a nice, big, full, deep inhale. Slowly exhale, preferably through the nose. Let's do that a couple of times. Inhale, nice and deep. Exhale very slowly. Now notice as when we breathe in, do you add your shoulders? Just try and relax the shoulders and let the diaphragm pull the belly straight up and relax the tension in the shoulders. Sometimes we use our traps to breathe and we're trying to let the diaphragm do most of the work. Exhale, let that belly drop down. We'll do it 2 more times with a big inhale, rising the belly. And then exhale, relax the shoulders a little more, relax the spine, relax the legs. 1 more nice deep breath in. And then exhale, let it all go. Now, if we do have our legs outstretched, I want you to go ahead and bend your knees so your feet are flat on the floor. And once your feet are flat on the floor, you're going to take your right arm and just lift it up over your head. Just see if there's anything in the way. If there's anything in the way, just move it out of the way. And then when your hand comes down, the other one goes up. So let's inhale to rise one way, and then exhale the other way. So we're just starting to get into these shoulders. Inhale, one hand above the head. Slight elbow bend is fine. Exhale the other hand. Inhale through the nose, rising the belly up. Exhale through the nose, letting the belly collapse. 1 more time, big inhale, rising one hand. And then exhale the other hand. Let's take both of those hands down by our sides now. We're gonna start with the lower part of the body. Walk your heels a little bit closer. And I want you to take a look at the screen, because we're not gonna go pushing up right into a full bridge pose. What I want you to do is, hopefully you can see, I'll turn a little to the side here, that I'm just tipping my tailbone, and there's a little gap that naturally happens in my back. I want you to squish that little gap out, and if you can see from my side, I'm taking the belly button down, squishing that little gap out behind my back, using my abdominals, and then releasing back up. So I'll move my hand just so you can see it. There's a little gap behind my back, neutral spine. Exhale, pressing the lower back in, getting rid of the gap, and then letting my tailbone tip again. So 2 more times. Exhale, squeeze the little spot out from behind the back, and then inhale, let it come up. We'll do it 1 more time. Exhale, get that little gap out from behind the back, and then inhale, come back up. Now, if you're ready to come all the way up, we're going to tip the tailbone, get rid of that little gap, and like a zipper, you're going to lift up every single vertebrae. So vertebrae by vertebrae, roll up to mid shoulders, not too high, don't want the chin to the chest. It's not a bridge pose, it's a spinal manipulation. And then vertebrae by vertebrae, trying to come down until you get to that gap, squish the gap out, and then when the tailbone touches, that's when the gap comes back. We'll do this a few times. So if you're with me, you're exhaling, squishing the gap out from behind the back, slowly lifting like a zipper, rising up until mid shoulder blades, and then slowly pressing vertebrae by vertebrae back down, get rid of that little gap, and then let the tailbone relax into a neutral position. 2 more times. Inhale to lift nice and slow. We're trying to let every single vertebrae start to manipulate on its own. And then exhale, slowly rolling down through each one. Squish the little gap out from behind the back, and then let the tailbone relax. 1 more time. We're gently looking to the ceiling. If we need to take a peek to the side, we can do it, and then just go back to looking at the ceiling and focus in on the spinal erectors and all of the little muscles in each vertebrae as they articulate down the spine. All right, so now that we've done some articulation of the spine, let's stack one knee over our hip and then the other knee over our hip. And once we've got this one, we've got that natural gap in behind our back, and that's fine, but we're gonna do a little bit more of a core brace. And just to make sure you have a core brace, because sometimes people say, oh, brace your core. We're like, what does that mean? Sometimes we just don't know what that means. So what we're gonna do is lift up our hands, just about maybe 5 centimeters off the floor, and start to pulse them. Okay, as soon as you start to pulse them, you're gonna brace your core. There's no way to not brace your core when you do this, okay? This is very traditional in Pilates, but I want us to understand bracing the core because it is so important for your spine. So let's put those hands down and keep that core brace. Now you know what the core brace is. And with that core locked on, drop your right heel down to the floor or your toes, and then bring it back up. Do not let the core relax. And then do the same thing with the other one, and then come back up. So we have tension in the abdominals the whole time. If you've lost it and the back starts to arch again, don't be afraid to go ahead and do a couple little pulses here and go, okay, there's my core again, and then lower the leg back down. So we'll do this a couple of times. We're not trying to press any pressure into the back of the neck. So remember, it's all in the core, so don't press the head into the mat. Press your hands into the floor. 1 more time, lowering one leg, and then coming back. So strong cores are integral to good posture. A lot of the time we sit and we lose a lot of that abdominal work. So now that we've got our knees stacked and our hands down by our side, lift the right hand up over your head and then switch it for the other one. So we're back just to hand movements and my knees are stacked over my hips. I've got that core locked on. Earlier when we were moving our hands, we probably didn't have our core locked on because we didn't need to, but now that we've got our knees stacked, we definitely want that core on. Inhale, one hand. Exhale, the other. And then we're gonna put it all together. Often this is called dead bug. I don't particularly like to call it that pose, but that's what it's been called in the past. So if you know it as that, otherwise we are just doing one hand and 1 foot drop. So when your right hand comes down, we're gonna let the left foot drop when it comes up. So it's opposite hand, and then switch to the other side. You're gonna figure it out, so don't worry if you are like, oh, which hand is which? When the leg goes up on one side, you rise that hand, and then you do the same thing on the other side. So again, we have that core locked on. It's big inhales to do one side, and then exhales to do the other. We'll do one more time like this, rising, and then lowering, and then we'll have our hands up in the sky and our knees stacked. So we've got our shoulders. I want you to reach for the ceiling as if there's something up there that you really want. So lift the shoulders off, not the head, and then pull your shoulder blades down and squish them into the mat. So lift up with a big inhale, so we're reaching for the ceiling, and then exhale, pull back. If you need to put your feet down, please do. Inhale, coming up. I like the knees stacked, it gives you a little bit more core work. Exhale, bring the shoulders down. Do it 2 more times. Inhale, reach as high as you can, fingertips to the ceiling. Exhale, pull the shoulders down. 1 more time. Inhale and exhale. Go ahead and grab your knees and pull them into the chest. Just relax everything. Core should be completely relaxed now, but it should be awake. Now that we've done that, let's just draw little circles with our knees. So we're getting into the pelvis, into the sacrum. You're just holding onto the knees and drawing a little circle around one way. And then we can draw the other way. And then gently place one foot down, followed by the other. And I like to go with cactus arms. So my elbows are bent and my hands are out. If you prefer to go long all the way, feel free to do that. Our heels are close to our bum, and we're just gonna do the twist now. So drop your knees to one side. It doesn't matter which way you start, because we're just dropping it to one side. My knees don't stay together, nor do they touch the floor. And then I'm inhaling back up, and then I'm going the other way. Now, if your knees stay together and touch the floor, it's not wrong. I'm just saying it doesn't have to look a particular way. Inhale, coming back up. When you drop your knees one way, look the other way. Start to get that spine back in to a bigger range of motion with the cervical as well as your thoracic, and then drop the other way and look opposite to the knees. We'll do that 2 more times each way. Exhale, let the knees drop, looking the other way. Inhale, coming up. Exhale, and coming up. Again, very important to be able to twist the spine. So these are just our gentle twists. And then switch the other way. And you have 2 options this morning on how to get up. If you would like to just roll onto your side and make your way up, feel free to do that. But if you want a little more vigor, let's go ahead and grab our knees again. Just hold onto those knees. And then lift your chest to look up at your knees. And if it feels right today, just do a little rock and roll. You're gonna massage those vertebra, the spinal erectors. And if you can get enough momentum to roll up, we'll go ahead and sit up. Again, not worried, you can just come up to a seated position any way you like. All right, so we should be a little bit warmer. We should definitely feel our core now. If you need a sip of water, it's a great time to grab it. We're gonna continue a little bit with our shoulders. Just get my hair out of the way here. And we're gonna take our feet out in front of us. And instead of holding onto the knees, let's hold underneath the knees. And from the side view, this will allow me to pull up nice and straight. So you can see my spine is nice and straight. Again, we're just trying to lift up our spine. And then once we've done that, we're gonna exhale and push our spine back, lengthen those arms. So we're just tipping on the tailbone. Inhale, sit up nice and tall, look straight ahead. It's that nice tall spine. And then exhale, round that spine out using your arms. Let's do that a couple more times. Inhale, lifting right up. Exhale, lowering down. Look at your navel. One more time to sit all the way up nice and tall, shoulders away from the ears, chest is proud. And then exhale, rounding back out. Inhale, sit up nice and tall. And just take a couple of nice deep breaths here while you pull your shoulders back. And we're trying to just feel our spine from the tip of our head right down to the tail is perfectly straight and aligned, sitting up nice and tall. Now we know what this nice tall spine feels like. We're gonna try and do that without holding on to our knees and not having our knees bent. So we have a couple options here. A handy block will help. If you use a block, you're gonna put your bum right at the edge, and that's gonna let your knees come a little bit more forward. So we're not having our butt completely on the block, okay? So from side view again, let's see if I can get on the purple so that you can see it a little bit more. My butt is right on the edge of the block. You can see that there's a heck of a lot of block behind me so that I can have my knees come forward, and it's just tipping my tailbone so that I can sit up and look straight ahead. My hands can be out to the side, they can be resting on my knees, whatever you need to do. Again, we're thinking about how we align with our knees in front of us holding on. Now we're using our core muscles to keep our spine straight. If you don't need the block, totally fine. Again, I have a super straight spine, so please don't look at my spine and go, oh, I want that. I have a really straight spine, and I actually don't have a curve in the upper part of my spine. That's just the way I was born. It's not dangerous, it doesn't mean anything, but you'll notice that I'm really erect. So it's okay to have a little bit of a shoulder roll. I generally do not. So whether you're sitting on a block or whether you're sitting on your buttocks, what I want us to do now is the same thing. Just rise up one of your hands above your head and try and keep your spine straight. And then I'm going to switch it for the other one. Inhale, one hand. Now we're using our core to stabilize, sitting up nice and straight, because a lot of the time we do things with our hands in front of us. We don't just stand straight like we're standing at attention. We're usually doing something with our hands and moving. Let's do it a couple more times. To inhale, one hand up. Exhale, the other. Trying to keep that chest lifted, looking straight ahead. Inhale, up. And then exhale, the other. Let's bring both of those hands up and reach for the sky. So like we did when we were on our backs, except this time what we're doing is we're not pulling the elbows out to the side. So we want straight arms. We're depressing the shoulders. And then we're gonna reach for the ceiling, squeezing in between your head. So triceps are trying to squeeze your head. Exhale, drop down. And then inhale, lifting up. We'll try and do it 2 more times. So straight spine, exhale, drop down, depression of the shoulders. Inhale, reach up. This is much more natural. We tend to have high shoulders. Exhale, dropping down. Nice. And then inhale, rising up. All right, let's take those hands down onto your knees, and we're gonna work with one hand only. So I'm gonna take my right hand and send it all the way up into the sky. Bring it down to shoulder height. Sweep it out to the side, and then bring it back up. Okay, so we're working the shoulder. Exhale, down, sweep it out to the side. Inhale, come back up. 2 more times. Think about that strong spine and shoulder articulation right from the shoulder girdle. 1 more time, coming down, circle out, and come up. I'm already starting to feel some work in the shoulder. Let's put it down and do the other side. Okay, so now we're doing big circles. So take the hand out at shoulder height. Inhale it up. Take it down to the side, and then sweep it in front. Okay, so lift it up, out to the side, and sweep it together. Inhale up, out to the side, sweep it in. 1 more time, sitting up nice and tall, out to the side, and then together. All right, let that hand relax. Give me a shoulder roll up, back and down, sit up nice and tall. And we've done it one way and we've done it the other way. So now we're gonna take the first hand, the right hand, and we're gonna do it the other way. So take it out to the side, come up, and then sweep it down. So out to the side, come up, and sweep it down. 2 more times. Out to the side, up, sweep it down. Last time, out, up, and sweep it down. Relax. The other side, hand. This time it's going to go out to the side, up, and bring it down. Actually, we did this one, so let's lift it up, then out to the side. That feels better. And then sweep it in. So up, side, and sweep it in. One more time, up, side, and sweep it in. Take both of those hands now. And we're going to try and sit up nice and tall. And this is where you're going to want to start to wiggle that hips. So we're going to try not to do any of this motion when we're here. We're sitting up nice and tall, and we're going to do both hands the same way. Lift them up to the sky, bring them out to the side, and then bring them together. So inhale up, exhale down and around together. 2 more times, looking straight ahead, trying not to round that spine or tip the pelvis. We'll do it 1 more time. We're almost there. I'm starting to feel these shoulders really working, challenging. We're going to take it wide. So open up wide now. Open up really wide. Open that chest, lift up, continue to look straight, and then bring them down. Inhale, open up, lift up, and then exhale to lower down. 2 more times. Inhale, exhale, lower down. 1 more time. Inhale, and exhale, release those hands down. Give a little shoulder shake. Those should be feeling pretty good now, yes? All right. Now that we've done a couple of those ones, let's take our hands behind us and bring our feet out in front of us. Now, if you find that your fingertips are sensitive, or the wrists are sensitive, or the floor just seems a little too far away today, go ahead and put your hands on blocks, okay? So we can always use blocks. They're fantastic. If we're okay to have our fingertips or our hands on the floor, we're just lifting up our chest and doing a little bit of a back bend here. And then exhale, rounding to look at the navel. Very similar to what we did earlier, but this time we're now opening up the chest a little further into a back bend. It's supported. And then exhale, coming to look at your navel. We'll do that 2 more times. It's opening up pec minor, pec major through the chest as you look up, and then bring the chin to the chest. And we'll do it 1 more time, a nice big inhale to lift up. And then exhale, chin to the chest. All right, so we're not gonna look quite up at the ceiling. We just want a neutral spine. So we've lifted our chest up, and we're gonna walk our feet in a little bit closer. We're gonna do the same thing with the knees. Drop them over to the right side, and then come back, and then over to the left side. They may or may not touch, but you're keeping your chest lifted. The natural inclination is to want to dive down and look at your belly button. What I want you to do is show off a necklace that you're wearing and keep looking with that open chest as you drop the knees. You don't have to look at those knees. You know what those knees are doing. So just look up on a diagonal to the ceiling, keep the chest open, drop the knees to one side, coming back. And again, we're lifting right off of the butt cheek on one side and then coming back. We'll do it 1 more time each way. So I'm going to the right side, coming back, and then to the left side and coming back. All right, let's take a moment here just to release those wrists. So I'm sitting up, just give me a couple of releases here. I have 1 more level if you want it, okay? And again, don't worry about taking this level if it's not for you today, but it's exact same movement, except we're gonna add in a nice big opener with the arm rising up over our head. So watch this one. Again, blocks are fine. We're lifting up the chest, and we're gonna drop our knees to the right side, but instead we're gonna lift up the left hand and reach back. So that's gonna give us even more of a back bend, and then we're gonna make sure we're secure to come down, and then we're gonna switch to the other side, and then maybe a back bend option is not lifting that hand off at all, okay? So let's take it at our own pace. You're dropping the knees, lifting, and maybe reaching that hand just slightly behind your head, and then bringing it back down, dropping the knees the other way, and then lifting up and coming back down. So this is stretching out the abdominals now, especially if you're lifting up that hand, because we're opening up our chest, we're reaching back into a back bend, we've got a little twist from our thoracic spine. One more time. Why would we need to do this? Well, think about all the times people would climb up onto a tree and have to reach behind them to grab some fruit. I'll do it one more time. Take your time. If you've had enough, stop. But again, think about reaching behind you to grab something. Maybe you've set up your ladder incorrectly and now you're reaching behind you for grabbing or cleaning. We never want to do that, but we all have done it. And if we're strong in the core, at least we're not going to hurt ourselves that way. I do not ever recommend leaning back when you're standing on something because we don't want to fall. Okay, so have a little rock side to side here. I'm going to grab a sip of water, but we should be feeling nice and loose in the spine. All right, go ahead and grab your strap, your yoga strap. And again, we're sitting on a block to keep our spine tall, or we're sitting on our glutes. I have one of the bands that has the clasp, and I'm just gonna wrap that clasp up in my right hand, doesn't matter which hand, just so that it's not all over the place. And I've wrapped it up, but I still need enough room so that my hands are way wider than my shoulders, okay? And then once we've got this, we're gonna do that rounding of the shoulders again, except we're gonna keep the band taut. So we're not gonna let that band go loose. We're gonna keep it taut, and we're gonna tuck the chin first, roll forward, and you're pushing and pulling that yoga strap away. And then you're gonna zipper back up, lifting all the way up. And then maybe we just go slightly behind the head and look up. Okay, now if you are already starting to feel a stretch right here in those pectoral muscles, they get very, very tight, then we just want to stay at just slightly behind the head. You're not trying to press this movement. So you're exhaling, rolling down nicely, maybe to touch those knees, and then you're going to stack vertebrae by vertebrae as you inhale up, and then exhale slightly behind the head and see where you can go. We'll do this again at our own pace, nice and slow. I encourage you to go even slower than me. That's where you're gonna find the stickiness in the connection of the shoulders and the spine. Now, if you have a lot more flexibility and you know you can go all the way down to the bum, you can. We're looking up, and then we're gonna inhale. Once you get to the top and you can start to see your band, follow your band down and roll through the spine. Inhale, coming all the way up. This is so important for rotator cuffs. Exhale, somewhere behind your back. Maybe you're like me and can touch the back of your bum. And then inhale slowly to come back up. We want those elbows to be straight. If we're starting to bend the elbows, it means you're trying to compensate. As soon as you get to here, if you're starting to bend the elbows, just don't go any lower. Okay, you want you to have those elbows straight and then pull down behind anywhere. Inhale, coming back up. And then let's stop with our hands out in front of us. Okay, so they're at our shoulder height. We're gonna take the band and just tip it to the right side, lift the left up. And then we're gonna come back down and do the other side. So it's just like a little lean now. We're pulling our right hand down, lifting our left up. Go ahead and look at that left hand, and then look at the center of your band, and then lifting your right hand up. Look at that right hand. 2 more times, looking at the band. Inhale up. Exhale, coming back into the center. Inhale, looking up. Coming back to the center. And if we feel particularly good, we just go through that motion and we just dive it down. So now we're looking up, looking at the center, diving down. So it's like you're doing a kayak. If you've ever done a kayak, it's the biggest paddle you've ever used in your entire life while you're trying to dip the hand down into the water and then go the other way. Your core, your shoulders, your back, everything is working. Exhale, downing one side. Inhale the other. We'll do one more, and then we will leave these shoulders alone for a little bit and release. get rid of that band. All right, so a lot of work for the shoulders, so just let them relax now. Maybe close your eyes for a second, sit in a comfortable position, comfortable, this might be comfortable, cross-legged might be comfortable, and just take a deep breath in, and then exhale, let those shoulders drop. Inhale, big deep breath, rise the shoulders up. Exhale, let them drop. 2 more times, inhale. Feels so good to let them drop. 1 more time, inhale. All right, let's go ahead and find ourselves on our all fours, so in our tabletop position. And once you're in your tabletop position, go ahead and see if you can tuck the toes. Okay, so you can see my toes are tucked. And again, sensitive wrists might mean that we hold onto some blocks. If we're very sensitive with the wrists today, go ahead and come down onto the forearms. It's okay. If you're like me and you can stay on the wrists, you're just in your tabletop. The point is we're gonna push back into those feet to bring your bum to your heels. So now we're starting to stretch out by pushing the bum to the heels and tucking those toes. And again, I'm not worried about how much you push your bum back. I want you to feel the stretch through your calf, Achilles tendon, plantar surface of the foot, and the tips of those toes. And then come all the way back up. If you're using blocks, looks like this. Exhale, pushing back. Doesn't look too much different than what I've been doing with my hands on the floor. It just gives me a little bit something to grab onto. If I'm down on the forearms, because I find that it's a little challenging for my wrists today, same deal. You're pushing back. You might have to move those blocks a little bit so you can get in a little bit deeper. And then coming back up. We'll do it 2 more times. Stretching out. If you can hold at the bottom of this one for a little bit, just sit here for a second and just see how it feels. Maybe you even move those feet side to side, just to stretch out those toes and then come back up. We'll do it 1 more time. Again, we're in shoes a lot, so we don't get that lift up for those toes as if you were standing on your tippy toes. You might even sway your entire lower half of the body while you're pushing those toes into the floor. And then slowly make your way up. Let's release those toes. A lot of the time we get very tight in the feet. So give them a little tap out. And then again, we can use those blocks to come down onto the forearms, or we can stay up. But we're gonna lengthen out one leg. Doesn't matter which leg it is, okay? If you need that little extra padding for the knees, go ahead and do that. If you need the blocks for forearms, you can come down a little bit more. If you're okay to have your hands up, again, have up. But we've got that leg extended now. From here, we're rolling the shoulders up, back, and down, and then pulling the belly up. So where I like to be, naturally, is to sink into my shoulders and let my belly hang, because that just feels good. I feel like, okay, this is all just letting it all hang out. But in this class, we're really talking about the supporting muscles. So here's me taking my shoulders up, pulling them down away from my ear, and then sucking the belly button up so that if I was to have a glass of water on my spine, it won't move now, okay? Otherwise, I'd be doing a lot of these weird things with my shoulders. We wanna put a glass of water on your back and it's not moving. From here, look down and between your hands, and you're gonna lift the leg up any amount so that the back doesn't arch. And then exhale, put the foot down. Now again, I'm not talking about height. If I'm going for a height, you're gonna see my belly is gonna drop, I'm gonna dip into my shoulders. It's not about the height, it's about the control. So we pull the belly up, shoulders away from the ears, look down at the floor, and then lift the foot up just a little bit. And then exhale it to come back down. Inhale, lift up. Nice. Exhale, come back down. It's all about that control. 1 more time, inhale, lift up. Exhale, put it down. Okay, we'll just add on a little bit to this one. So we're gonna lift up the foot, keep your back exactly as it is, and we're gonna bend the knee now. And then we're gonna let the foot lengthen and put it back down. As soon as you bend and use that hamstring, you're gonna wanna collapse. So we're just lifting the foot up, and then instead of collapsing into the belly, we're gonna pull the belly up and try and get the heel to our bum, rise through the shoulders, extend back out, and then put the toe back down. We'll do it 2 more times. So lifting the leg, pushing into the fingertips or the forearms to bend the knee, squeeze the butt, then extend it out and lower back down. 1 more time, lifting up, squeeze the butt, bring the belly button up, press out of the shoulders, extend and lower down. Have a seat. If we really kept that core tension on and the shoulders down instead of collapsing into the front, into the anterior of the body, you probably really felt it in your butt and in your hip as you extend it out, okay? So a couple of wrist rolls, and again, if we need to come down onto those forearms because those wrists are starting to feel it, go ahead and do that. So I'm gonna choose the option with the forearms on blocks. And again, if that's a little low, go with the high side. There's lots of options here. I'm gonna go a little higher. Okay. Let those wrists just hang out. Make sure that the blocks are directly in line with your shoulders. And then we're gonna take that other leg out, okay? And again, I'm here in this really relaxed position. So shoulders up, back, belly up, and now I'm already feeling a lot of work in my core and in my shoulders and in my back. Then I'm lifting the foot up and then bringing it back down. Okay, here is the common mistakes. Dropping the belly and then lifting the foot up as high as you can. No, no, no. We're gonna pull the shoulders back, pull the belly up, and then lift the foot, and it shouldn't come anywhere near higher than a few centimeters off the floor, because if it gets higher than the hip, you've got to compensate with the hip and you're losing your back and your core muscles. We'll do that 2 more times. Just lifting up, squeezing the butt, exhale, come back down. 1 more time, shoulders away from the ears, belly up, and then just lift that leg up and put it back down. The add-on, lift the leg up. Again, think about the belly button coming up as you pull your knee into, or sorry, your heel in towards your butt, lengthening out and then putting it back down. It doesn't look like much, but if you are not letting that belly collapse, you are feeling your back, your core, and your glute work with that hamstring. 2 more times. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, pull in. Send it back out. Drop it down. Last one, really pick up the belly. Pull the shoulders away from the ears, heel to bum. Lengthen it out and put it down. Have a seat. So when we do our tabletops and we do our, these ones where we do our bird dog, some don't call it bird dog, but it's this one that we were doing earlier, except we were doing it on our back. We have a tendency to sway the back. So if you'd like to come in and try this one, again, if you had more than enough, then stay, but we're gonna have our hands out for this one, shoulders back and down, bellies up, and take the leg out, one leg out, lift it up, and keep it below your hip because you're pulling your belly up and your shoulders away. And if you feel good and strong, walk the opposite hand out and lift it up. Now it's at this point that you don't move that spine. You pull and touch your hand to your knee, but don't round the spine. And then inhale, lengthen it back out. Okay, this is the common problem. Arching here and letting the shoulders roll, and then coming back out and letting the belly sag. So it's not cat-cow. So pull back, tapping the knee, trying to keep that glass of water on your back from spilling, and then lengthen it out. 1 more time. This is extremely difficult. For someone like myself that has practiced yoga for years, this still gets me going every single time. And then placing the hand down. We'll do the other one. So from the front view, hands are wide. We're taking that other leg back out. I'll do it from the side view here. Okay, it's taking the leg out. It's tapped on the floor, shoulders back, belly button up, lift the leg. And then we can walk the hand out and see if we can find that balance. Again, if we walk the hand off and we started to do something with the pelvis, keep the hand on the floor and just move the leg in and out. But if you're good, we can do both at the same time. I'm touching my knee. So again, it's not about the elbow, and then reaching back out. You're exhaling, pulling it in, trying to keep that glass of water flat on the back, and then send it back out. Do 2 more if you can. Exhale, tapping. It's also working the shoulder If you're floating that hand, one more time, core back, shoulder girdle, reaching out, and relax. All right. Sip of water would be good now. Now, the great thing about doing that kind of work, and I generally teach this in my class, why do we do these things? Take a moment, but just think about any time something's dropped on the floor and made a big mess. I have to tuck my toes generally so that I can get some leverage to do this sweeping movement. So I'm cleaning the floor. We've all had probably something to do with this. So this is stabilizing, okay? And so when we do our movements with our hands, we want to make sure our core is locked on. You generally can't do this, okay? It just doesn't work. Pull the belly up and then use your hands. Very similar to this. The other thing that we've done before is I've dropped something underneath my chair and I've had to counterbalance with my leg and get under it to reach just a little bit further so I can grab it. We've probably all done that before, okay? So these are the reasons why we have these movements. This is the reason why we want to stay strong in these movements. Let's go ahead and make our way up to standing. Get off of those limbs for a little bit. And find your block. Now I'm on a hard surface. So I have a hardwood floor underneath my mat. If you have carpet, this is going to be even more challenging for you. You may not want to use the block on the second part, okay? So feet are underneath our hips. And remember we had been already talking about getting that stretch of the toe because we want to come up onto the tippy toes. So I'm just holding onto this block right now. And we're just going to let it come down by our sides, okay? Shoulders up, back and down. And before we start up onto the tippy toes, we just want to make sure that that spine is nice and limber. So we're going to start by tipping the chin down. You're holding onto this block and you're going to pretend this block, instead of weighing like a percentage of a pound, it's going to weigh 20 pounds. So we're just slowly going to let that block, think about a heavy bowling ball or heavy grocery bag. And once you get down to around your knees, you might need to tip the block depending on how low you go. Coming down to the floor with the block, you might be able to come down to the medium side. You might be able to bring the block all the way to the floor, okay? So there's a lot here. But now that you're down on the floor and you're getting this stretch through the hamstrings, we're gonna bend our knees and we're gonna lift that ball, block, whatever it is, up vertebrae by vertebrae. Pretend it weighs a heck of a lot. And then come all the way back, shoulders back and down, and stack. Okay, so we'll do that again. Just letting that block hold in your hands. If you know that you need it a little bit higher, you can hold it this way. And we're going to tuck the chin, slowly roll down through the spine. You're squeezing your bum. And then once you get to about your knees, you can start to soften the knees and start to put the block down on the floor anywhere you need to. Once it's on the floor, bend the knees, push through your heels, and start to pick up that block. Slowly roll up through the spine and then stack the shoulders to look straight ahead. We'll do that 2 more times. It's slow and controlled. You're tucking. This is your cervical spine, upper thoracic, letting that block pull you down through the lower thoracic. Start to bend the knees and put the block down on the floor. This is the glute hamstring connection. And then bend your knees greatly, press into the heels, and come all the way up, vertebrae by vertebrae. And we'll do that 1 more time, tucking the chin, rolling the shoulders forward, squeezing your bum. And then once you start to need the knee bend, go ahead and start to bend the knees to put the block down. And then we'll bend the knees greatly to roll back up by pressing into the heels and slowly coming back up. All right, so we're just holding onto the block now. I'll stay on the side view. Our feet are about hip distance apart. And what I want you to do is look straight ahead. Okay, so it's either at the camera. If your camera is a little lower, then I want you to look at something that's at your eye level. And roll the shoulders back and down. and you're gonna be pulling this block apart. So it's like you're trying to rip it apart with your hands, so that's gonna pull your shoulders back. If I'm squeezing the block, it means my shoulders come forward. So pull the block apart and then lift up onto your toes. So look straight ahead, pull the block apart, that's keeping you totally straight if you're trying to pull the block apart, and then come up onto those toes. Don't worry if you wobble, and then exhale, lower it back down and release the block, okay? So let's start again, shoulders back and down, rip your block apart, and then pop up onto the balls of the feet. Breathe a couple here, trying to stay up onto the balls of the feet, and then lower back down and release the tension from the block. One more time, pull the block, look straight ahead, start to lift up, find the balance on the toes, and then lowering back down. That block now on the narrow side is going to go in between your calves, okay? Now we know how to do our shoulders. We know that when we pull, those shoulder blades go back. So instead of having something in front of you to pull, you just now know that you're going to let the hands relax and pull the shoulder blades back as if you're pulling something. So you can picture pulling something. And then once you've done that, we're gonna try and lift up onto those toes with the block in between the feet. So again, squeeze your bum and keep the block in between and come up as high as you can. Try not to roll forward, shoulders back. It's all about posture here. And then exhale, lowering back down. If that is way too difficult with the block there, drop the block. So we're gonna try it again, shoulders up, back and down. Again, our tendency is to wanna lean forward and do this and kind of do a lift up. What I want you to do is strong back, shoulders back, abs on, and then lift up, straight up. The top of your head is going straight up as you squeeze that block between your calves. We'll do that 2 more times. And again, if you wobble, don't worry, I wobbled on the last one. Inhale, try and come up and hold as long as you can. Feel those calves work, feel the toes work, spine, everything is up and erect. Lower back down. One more time, lifting up. You gotta squeeze your glutes, you gotta use those toes, you feel the calves, shoulders stay back, you're trying to stay up as high as you can, and then lengthen back down. The most satisfying thing in the class is letting that block drop. All right, let that block just drop out of the way. All right, so now that we have done that, we probably felt a lot more engagement with the block in between our calves. We're gonna take our first chair pose. So the feet are the same way. Imagine you have the block in between. You've got your shoulders up, back and down. We're gonna take a big inhale up, and we're gonna bring our hands to heart center. So just bring them to heart center, and my thumbs are touching my chest. Shoulders up, back and down. And we're gonna press our heels into the floor. Like when we did the roll down, we're not gonna roll down. We're gonna press our bums back and our heels into the floor and bring our knees forward. And then we're gonna slowly come back up again, pressing into the heels. So lead with the bum. My hands are at my shoulder, at my chest. So my thumbs are actually on my chest. So it takes a little bit of weight out of those hands. Push the bum back, drive into the heels. And as you drive into the heels, think about pressing the feet out to the side. So remember when I said dropping that block felt really good? Picture the block in there and then pretend it's going to drop out. So you push your feet out to the side and you're gonna feel a lot more engagement and strong through the sides of your butt. And then come back up again. We'll do it one more time. We're gonna drop down, squeezing the imaginary block between your inner calves, and then press the feet out as if you wanna drop that block, and then stand up as you're pressing out to the side. That should make you feel a lot more stable. If you wanna try it with the block, you can. It's just a narrow one. So again, block or no block, if you just wanna see what I mean, we've got the block in between our feet. We're gonna inhale all the way up. Bring your hands to your chest, pull the shoulders up, back, and down. And then we're going to push our bums back and squeeze that block in between. Now, not from the knees, from the feet, release the block. From the feet, not from the knees. And now that you've got that, press all the way back up to standing, okay? So it's about dropping that block. So again, let me take that coloring off. I put the block in between. Okay. Inhaling up. Exhaling to heart center, shoulders up, back and down. I've got the block still squished in between. And then instead of my knees parting, I'm gonna press out to the sides of my feet and let the block drop. And then while the pressure is on the sides of my feet, press into the heels to stand up. And you're gonna feel your back not work, but actually your glutes and your hamstring work, okay? We got that idea? We kind of get the sense of it? It really, really makes a difference, especially when you're picking up heavy bags or things off the floor. So when you go to pick up something off of the floor, let's just say these are bags, and you're going to step into it, push your bum back, shoulders back and down, grab your heavy bags, and then you're gonna push up to the sides of the feet so they can anchor those ankles down, and your back is straight so you can use all the muscles of the legs, and you have a fantastic posture. What we tend to do is do this rounding, use our backs, to pick it up, and then it goes, ouch. Okay, so this one is just to remind you to sink butt back, press into the heels outside of the feet, and then lift those heavy bags up. You will never hurt your back again. However, we tend to forget as we move our day. We're very quick. We lean over, we grab it, and then it's like, it takes a second, and we've probably all done this. All right, so now that we are standing and we've gotten some good grounding for our feet, let's take tree pose. Everyone doing okay? This is a lot of technique work today. It's a lot of talking and trying to explain to you why I want you to perfect these movements. All right, so we're gonna stand on our stronger foot. That's my right foot. And then we're gonna externally rotate from the hip and then take your hands to your hips, okay? So now that we've got this positioning, let me move back here so we can see. Okay, we are going to take a big inhale all the way up. You're gonna press into the toe and dive over to one side. Okay, so my foot is on the floor, and then we're gonna come all the way up, use that core, this is lateral side flexion now, and tip the other way. Go ahead and come back up. Leaning over, my heel is still attached to my ankle, and I'm pressing my left toes into the floor. My right foot is fully engaged on the ground. And then come back up. Let's go ahead and release those hands down and see if we want to go a little bit higher. So we can by taking our foot and put it on the calf. Okay, so now my foot is off of the ground. Again, if today's not the day, put it back on the floor. It's still the same thing. This is just a little less grounded. So your tree now has uprooted, and we're going to inhale those hands up. We've got that strong, we've done a lot of lifting up over our head. Drop the shoulders down and then tip over to one side, whichever one makes you happy first, okay? And again, it's not a big tip. And then come back up. Try not to let those shoulders rise up. And you're thinking about that straight line as you tip to the side. So again, we've probably heard it before, but it's like you are in between a narrow space that you can't come forward on. So you can't lean forward because we don't want to arch the back. And then we don't want to do a back bend because that's just really weird here. We want to be nice and straight and then do the tip, pressing your toe into the floor or pressing your entire foot into your calf while the other one balances you. And again, balance is something that we have to train because we lose those little muscles as we get older. The little stabilizers, bring it back down, shake it out, that give us that ability to balance. So important to train balance and all of those things that we did with our feet, with the hips, with the core, with the back. All right, so we're gonna take it to the other side now. So I have my left foot on the floor. I'm externally rotating my right and bringing the heel to touch the ankle and my toes on the floor. Now I'm leaning down to look at my feet. So I don't want to look at my feet anymore. I'm taking the shoulders up, back and down, and it's a tall spine. From that side view, again, nice and tall. And we're gonna inhale all the way up and then exhale the shoulders down, okay? So now that we've got this, we're thinking about being in a completely straight line, and then we're gonna tip, choose a side. Tip a little bit over and continue to press your toe into the floor and then come back up. You should feel a lot of work in the core, the side obliques, and then I'm gonna go the other way, and then bring yourself back up. The side obliques are what does your your tree as you tip to the side. If you're coming forward and you feel it in your back, it's because we're doing a rounded spine and doing something like this and bringing those knees back in, okay? So we wanna try and lift up as high as we can and then take the dive. And then come back. All right, let's release it out, give it a shake. And we'll take the option of heel and toe on the floor or a little bit higher, okay? So I start with the shoulder roll up, back and down. Chest is open, can deep breathe, heel to my ankle, and then I'm lifting it up. So now I'm balancing. Inhale the hands up, drop the shoulders down, so depress the shoulder blades, and then take a choice. Out to one side, the foot that is floating is pressing fully into the outside of the calf or the inside of the calf, or it's pressing toe and heel into the leg, and then go the other way. Slowly come back up. We'll try it one more time each way. Notice which way is more challenging for you. Is it because of the way you're using your obliques? Is it the way you're pushing your foot into your leg or the toes into the floor? Just notice what changes as you tip. And then come back up. And then let's release it. Shake it out. All right. We're going to take it into a nice wide stance. This will be our last little bit. So, toes turned out. Okay. Doesn't have to be too wide. But then again, whenever I go wide and I go into this one, I kind of lean forward. Okay, so again, we're talking about these the erect muscles of the back. So we're going to go into an erect posture and we're going to try and pull those knees out. So we can take it and push on the insides of our thighs. If we need to come in a little bit narrower, you can. Toes are turned out. But we're going to hold onto the inside and pull ourselves up. Now from here, let's go ahead and see if we can push on the inside of the thighs, wrap those hands around, and dive forward. Now I want you to curve that spine, and it's like you're pulling your hamstrings up as you dive in. So it looks like this. Okay, so you're using yourself to pull up. And then what we're going to do is flip our hands onto our quads and then press the chest through and stick your bum out. So it's a standing cat-cow. Exhale, dive under, pull up with your hands onto your hamstrings, and then place your hands on your quads. Tip your butt out and look up. We'll do this 2 more times. So we're getting that opening. We're using those quads to hold ourselves up in the squat, and you're pulling on your body. And then we're going to put our hands on our quads, tip the tailbone and look up to the sky. Really press down. 1 more time, pulling up, big rounding of the spine. And then put your hands on your quads, stick the tailbone out, look up, and push down as your chest comes forward. And then stand up. Toe heel in. Nice work for that spine. A lot of work for the quads. Let's go ahead and take a nice deep breath in. And then exhale, let it go. We'll do that 2 more times. A big inhale, feet can be wide. And exhale, let it go. 1 more time, big inhale. And exhale, let it go. If we want to take that a little further, walk those feet wider. Inhale all the way up. This first one, don't let the hands drop, but just push the bum back and drop down as if you're scooping some air up. And then inhale, rise all the way up. Exhale, floating down, pushing the knees out. So we've done that opening here when we dropped our chest down. And then we're pushing all the way back up through those heels. 1 more time, push the knees back, scoop up that air. And then inhale, come back up. If you want a little bit more vigor, drop down and exhale. Inhale, come back up. Exhale. Inhale, come back up. You're trying to let those shoulders relax as they drop. You're no longer trying to scoop air. You're trying to let the hands go. And then inhale up. We'll do one more. Exhale. And inhale, come up. Let those hands relax. Give a little shake out here. And let's make our way back down to the floor. Take your time. I'll meet you down on the floor. We're gonna need our 2 blocks for this one. So just have them close by. But before we use the 2 blocks, we're just gonna use the 1 block for the head. So I have the blocks somewhere where I can reach them. Lie on your belly. And we're gonna use the block for the forehead. And it's just the forehead that's on there. So here's a nice visual. Picture yourself, if you've ever gone to a massage, you're just lying on your back, you've got that air flow because you've put your head down and you've got that little donut that you can put your head through. Same idea. I want you just to shimmy your hips and relax and have a lot of airflow. Now we're gonna be working on your neck and your shoulder muscles for the last little bit of the class. And again, there's something called kyphosis. So it means that when the shoulders round forward, your head comes forward a little bit and it starts to give you the pain in the shoulders. This is what we're going to work against because we have our head on a block. If the block is too high, especially if you have one of the bigger blocks, then what I want you to do is just use a fist instead, okay? So you can go low, you can use your fist, or if you have the ability to use the block, this will allow you to have both of your hands free. So now that we've got our forehead on a block or possibly on our hand or our fist, we're going to take the one that we're not using and we're gonna reach it up. I have both hands free. So I'm taking my right hand all the way up and then my left hand goes behind my back. Now, if I am using my right hand for my stabilization here, then we are not reaching it out. If your hand does not come entirely on your back, then I just need you to leave it off to the side, okay? So let me switch positions here. So you can see, hand here, flipping down, or possibly on your back, okay? And then once we've got that here, you are going to see if you can lift your head up off the block any amount. So just lift up. So I am in a gentler version here with my hand down by my side. I'm squeezing my bum and pressing my feet into the floor and then lowering myself back to the block. If I have my hand on my back, a little bit more challenging. Again, lifting off and then putting my head back down on the block. Inhale, lifting up. Again, no block is an option, just using your hand just as a point of contact. Inhale, just lift a little bit up. And if you have your hand on your back, here's the great thing about this. You can press into your lower back to press it down. So it's not yet up here near anyone's rib cage. It's not in the arch of the back. It's just right where your tailbone, the lower back touches the pelvis. So that's where you want it, and that is the sacrum, so that you can hold on to the sacrum and then go ahead and lift off. Okay, so just a little bit. Exhale, come down. And we'll do one more time. The block is really challenging because it keeps you in that lift a little more than if you have your head flat on the ground. Now, if you want to try a little bit more, you're going to take the opposite leg and try and lift it up with a straight knee, so no bend, and then come back down. So again, here's your options. Just lying down and lifting up and squeezing your bum and come back down. You can do 2 more of these. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, come down. I'm not doing anything with my head. It's just resting on the block. That's enough. Lifting up the leg and then come back down. If you're ready to try them all, it's like a little half bow. You're gonna lift up, lift the leg, press into the sacrum or have your hand on the floor, and then lower back down. We'll do it 2 more times. If you can press into the sacrum, it'll stabilize the pelvis a little bit more, and you might be able to get a little bit more height. But again, I'm not worried about that. I just want one leg and lift and then lower back down. We're gonna do everything on the other side. So if you've got your block, you're good. Give a little shimmy of the hips. You're gonna feel that lower back. And we're gonna switch sides. So hand, other one beside you, on your sacrum, wherever you are, a little lift off. So big inhale to lift, and an exhale to lower. Now, if you've got your hand wrapped around your back, you're also getting that shoulder stretch because it's behind your back. We'll do it a couple more times, block or no block. Inhaling up, exhaling down. This is some serious work for the back, okay? We'll do it a couple more times. Nice inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. One more time, squeezing the butt and lifting up. And again, it's not about the height, it's about the control, it's about feeling the back muscles work. Keep the head relaxed. You can take that hand off to the side if you want, or keep it on the sacrum. And then we're lifting the other leg. So opposite leg and come back down. And again, not height, about lift. Inhale and exhale. 2 more. Lift and lower. You should be feeling the lower back and the glute connection. Upper body is getting a little stretch, especially if you have your head on the block. And then come back down. If you want to do it all together, we're going to lift off. Inhale, lift everything off. And then exhale, lower back down. Inhale, lifting off. The hand that isn't doing anything, the one that's either above your head or pinned underneath you, is where you're pressing into to get the leverage to come up and come down. You can always be at the side if it doesn't feel quite right to reach behind your back. One more time. Inhale and exhale. Take your hands now and place them by your shoulders. Tuck your toes and slowly push back into child's pose. Release the work that we did in the back. So just go ahead and push yourself back into child's pose. The feet can lower down. You can keep the toes tucked. I like the toes tucked for that plantar stretch. But again, if that's not quite right today, always take the option to put the feet down and just stretch it out. Do a couple of more nice deep breaths here in your child's pose. And this is where you're going to need your 2 blocks. So we're going to lie on our bellies again, except we're going to take our 2 blocks and we're going to place them underneath your shoulders. Okay, so from here, it's underneath my armpit. I have it on the low side. And I'm going to take my hand out to the side, and then I'm going to take the other one and wedge it in underneath. And then I'm going to let my head fall to the floor. Okay, so I'll change the position so everyone can see. So my blocks are on the low side right now. My legs are not going to be bent. I'm just up against the window, so keep your legs flat on the floor because it'll be a little too aggressive if you do what I'm doing right now. So I just want you to put them underneath the armpits. Let the hands come out to the side and see if you can get your forehead to the floor. So this is going to push back all of the shoulders that we tend to have roll forward. Now, some of you might be able to go onto the higher side of the blocks. I have a lot of back extension. This is where I'm going to tuck those ones underneath my armpits on the higher side. Let the hands come out to the side. And then let my head fall forward. And that feels really good for me, but that's because I have a lot of mobility in my shoulders. So again, give it a shot, which one. If you're already feeling a lot of stretch here with your hands out and you're down on the lower ones and you're trying to get your forehead to touch the floor, just stay with that. If you think, oh no, you know what? I have a lot, if you do a lot of, if you're able to get into this kind of an extension into a full cobra, you might be able to take the blocks a little bit higher. But the challenge is not to keep the head up, right? The challenge is not here. We're not doing a cobra. We're trying to let the head now fall in between the blocks so that the forehead comes to the floor. And we take some nice deep breaths here. Now again, I'm going to go to the lower side just to show people that you can take your hands and flip them up and bend them so that they are down by your sides here. So you can see what I've done. I've gone from out here, turned my palm up, and then bent my elbows to come back in. Can also be done from the higher version. Again, a lot more intensity by bringing those hands down and letting the head onto the floor. And again, for those of us who could reach behind our back to our sacrum, you might be able to put one hand on your back, put the other hand on your back, and just interlace those fingers and let the blocks do their magic. Now again, I'm on the very high version of this, so it's really pulling me back. It's like a chiropractor when they're pulling your shoulders back. And so you're being your own little massage therapist, your own little chiropractic. I'm going to come down a little bit, and then again, same thing. Just trying to let those elbows fall out to the side and taking a couple of nice deep breaths here. Now the magic of this posture usually takes a couple of minutes to happen. You can't just do it once and then walk away after like 10 seconds. So we're just going to stay here for a little bit longer, just taking in some nice deep breaths. And again, if you need to release and just want to come into Shavasana, lying on your back, or maybe do a little pull in of the knees to your chest and roll on your back, that's fine. We're going to be going there in a bit. But if you want to go ahead and get there, feel free. Otherwise, a couple of more nice deep breaths. Just trying to let those shoulders and elbows relax down. And taking those nice deep breaths to puff up your back body. Give yourself another 30 seconds of just deep breathing and trying to relax around these blocks. Two more nice deep breaths, as big and deep and full as you can make them. The more air you get into the lungs, the more the shoulders will get that stretch out. All the fascia's connected. One more time, a nice big inhale. Exhale. We're slowly going to move our hands off of our back if we have them there. Flip the hands over so that they're palms down. Lift up the head and just shift those blocks out of the way. And then make your way into a child's pose, pushing yourself back nice and slow, because again, a lot of work for those shoulders. And we'll walk ourselves over onto our backs. And just lie back and notice how the shoulders feel now that they don't have anything pressing them back. They're just level now. Let those hands fall out to the side. And again, my knees are bent because I just needed a little moment before I started to lengthen them out. Just a little rock of the head side to side, nice and slow. Just see if you've got a little more range of motion now. My head just feels like it can move side to side because I've released a lot of maybe some tension that I had in my neck, either from sleeping or maybe from doing something repetitively, or maybe just the way I sit. There's a whole bunch of different things. And then if you're comfortable, let the head relax. Walk the legs out one at a time. Just notice how that pelvis feels. Then we'll go back into the way we started with some nice deep breaths. Big inhale through the nose. Maybe you let the air out with a big gust force, the first few. So inhale, exhale. So relaxing those shoulders, letting the muscles relax with the big exhales. Inhale. I'm going to do one more with gusto. Inhale. Then I'm going to go back into the deep breathing. So inhale through the nose, big, deep, slow breath. And slowly exhale through the nose, softening and releasing tension as you go. Let's just take our silence and just notice how our body feels. Again, now we're not using our abdominals, our back, our sides to stand. We're fully and completely supported by the ground, no muscles being used. Maybe you're still feeling some of the sensation of the shoulders with the block work that we did at the very end. Just take a couple of nice deep breaths and let the shoulders relax, let the fingers relax, let the jaw relax. And if we haven't done so already, just try to let the lips part. Let the tongue be heavy in the back of the mouth. Softening and around the eyes. And just melt a little bit more into your mat. Stay in Shavasana a little longer. Absolutely, just stay here. We did a lot of just lying on our bellies earlier in our shoulder work. So if it's time to maybe move those fingers and those toes, we can do that. Just a little wiggle. And maybe the wrists and the ankles, just a little wiggle side to side. My legs are outstretched, so I'm going to bring one knee in, followed by the other knee. Bring them up into my chest and hold on to those knees. Give them a little pull into the chest. A little love for that sacrum by drawing the knees in a circle again. And then the other way. Then I'm rolling onto the side, making my way up to seated. Taking a moment find a comfortable seated posture, ending the class with a couple of deep breaths, rising those hands all the way up. Exhale, releasing down, just noticing how the shoulders feel as we rise up, taking those deep breaths in, nice, tall, strong spine.